Let me show you how I was able to make the $5,400 profit today, July 7th, right after a long weekend, July 4th long weekend. Here is a chart on ES. You can see the liquidity zone started printing from 820. Usually, for me, the market opens by 8:30. Usually, I try to open my charts and set up everything at least 1 hour before so that I will see all the liquidity zones and important levels and the important zones, everything I can see before the market open. But a long weekend, I woke up late, but still I was able to set up everything at least 10 minutes before. But when the market opened, you can clearly see the market was going sideways. I was a little bit cautious on the day. The reason is that I don't want to take that first trade without any direction. I'm not going to scalp. I'm not going to like range trading. I want to see the clear direction. When I say clear direction, I want to see the trade setups in terms of clear breakout, clear retest, clear kind of order flow, level 2 base confirmations. So the best way to explain is that let's say this is what the price is like choppiness. Okay, you will see in terms of the level 2 liquidity zones are printing on top. That means this is where the sellers have the control pushing the prices down, and then you will also see the buyers control below. That means these are the boundaries, bottom boundary and top boundary. If you want to see the clear direction, I really wanted to see prices break down and then retest down. This way, the retest exactly on the where the buyers control if the market is going down. I'll be happy if I'm able to see sellers are taking over the control from their start. Sellers liquidity zone start printing here, where from the morning buyers control where. So this is what I was looking for. At the same time, if the market breaks out on the upside like this, I want to see the same thing retest on the same level where the sellers control were, and then also I look for the confirmation of buyers control. They move the buyers control from here to here. So I want to see that kind of confirmations and then the setups, everything to make the trade. Until that time, there is no trade for me. We got to be very patient. Stick to your rules, stick to your setups, look for your confirmations. Until that time, don't really make any trade. That's my way to get started. So you can see um, the market started. You can all the what is it? Let's see. You can see. Let me get my color. All the sellers control. You can see all the buyers control right here, right? So right here, that means the market is just going choppiness. So we had to be very cautious in terms of clear breakout. I was waiting for the clear breakout. Even though price went down here, there's no clear breakout and retest below this level. It just so I decided to even more patience, and then when the price finally, you can see this. You see this particular area where the buyers control. Buyers control held up here. It was broken out, and then I can see the liquidity zone. Sellers move the control from here to here. This is by multiple ways setups. Buyers control become the sellers control, and then the new order block setup is printed right here, touching the bar. So now I know I can take the trade short, but I just want a little bit cautious in terms of, is it price is not going even further, it's just staying there. I wanted to have a little bit of confirmation. The first confirmation happened at a liquidity sweep. Okay, what is a liquidity sweep? Let me explain a little bit. So let me draw here. If the prices are consolidating or something like that, and then you can clearly see there is strong liquidity is printing right here. Okay, if the prices is moving, suddenly price goes above the liquidity, take all the liquidity, and then sellers push the price back down into the range, and then once they push back down, and sellers will retake the control, you can start seeing the red line start of printing again. This is called liquidity sweep, and the sellers retaking the control. That means this is the strongest level you can rely on to take the trade. So this is what in my terms, there is no better way to take the trade. If I see the liquidity sweep, rejection, and then the sellers taking over the control, start printing the liquidity red line over here. That's why that happened this morning. That happened this morning. You can see right there. Okay, so you can see right here. Okay, right here. Do you see this? Prices went back up, took the liquidity, and then rejected. This is a wick above the line and then came down. This is where my first trade happened because a lot of ways. Now, first reason is buyer's control becomes seller's control. Second reason, new order block. This is the new order block right here. And then third, the most important part is the liquidity sweep. Once I saw the liquidity sweep, okay, now I can really take the trade. But don't forget, even if you take the short at here, there's a lot of buyers are holding, have a pending orders sitting here. You got to be very, very careful. So let me play out the video, and then you will see how I was able to manage the entire trade. Let's see. Okay, here is the recording I was talking about where I was able to enter the trade right after the liquidity sweep um, on the strong sell liquidity. And then I had to make sure there is a strong bias interest in this area. So that means I have to be very, very cautious in terms of I cannot keep a target anywhere. So I decided to have a partial contracts exit right on that liquidity right there, so that if the price come down and then I can unload a partial contract, and then if the price the buyers was able to hold the price, able to push it back up, at least I'm in the partial profit. But if the sellers are strong enough to push the prices down, that means I have the opportunity to expand my profit with the remaining contracts way down below. That's why make sure you think about like risk management in terms of you have to make sure all the possible resistance areas or possible price action areas. The best way to look at is liquidity zones in terms of right now I see a lot of strongest sales liquidity which is marked right here. You can see the numbers. The highest pending limit order sitting right here. You can see only the purple line right here, and then all these blue lines indicate how many contracts are each of these levels, these green lines. That means there's a lot of buying interest right there. That's why I had to put my partial contracts right there, and then be patient, right? And then be patient and see how it goes. And then my price really went into reach the first contract. You can see the first contract is gone. Let me okay, now you can see the price movement. The partial contract is gone right now, so I was able to book the first profit with the partial contracts. Now still my stop is the same place. I have my target is way down. Now one thing I wanted to watch how the price reacts after taking the liquidity. Now you can see the rejection right there. I want to see price is gonna go back up or is gonna continue. Based on that, I can plan something. So that's why you can see the rejection because the buyer's control was still holding strong. I wanted to see whether buyers are going to hold or sellers are going to step out and then push the price further down. So until that time, I'm not going to move my stop down. I'm not going to move my contract, anything. I just want to be a little bit patient. So let's see how it played out. Hang on. you can clearly see the price is not able to get through the green strong liquidity zones. The strong bids is struggling to get past. That means it's not going to go down easily. Eventually, the prices went back to the same place where I entry. That means my sell side liquidity. Do you see that line right there? Sell side liquidity. It went back to that place. It had one more liquidity sweep rejection. It had one more liquidity sweep rejection. That's when I took the. I didn't exit the trade since I saw it's okay. You can see right now, it went back to the same place. You can see the particular liquidity sweep happened at the exact same place. That means I added more contracts right here. I added more contracts. Now I'm almost like doubled, 4 contracts. I kept two different targets, two different stubs. Why? If you look at the first target is above the first block of um, buyers, and the second the target is at the second set of buyers. They are at two different controls. That means if the price is able to go to this liquidity, it has to go through my target, so I'll be partially exiting. And then if the buyers are stepping in, it goes back to the liquidity zones. I had again two different levels. I kept it separately. I don't wanted to exit at one shot. This way I can partially managing with a different risk. One with the higher risk, one with the lower risk, and then one with the shorter profit target and one with a longer profit target. So let's see how it plays out again. This is where I made the mistake. You can see that, look at the price going to my target. Look at the price going to my target. I made a perfect place for my partial target. You know, it's like went too close, too close. Look at this. It missed my partial target by like a couple of ticks. I was really frustrated. That means I could have had little bit up. I would have exited partially, but that's okay. I mean, we are missed it by just a tick or so, hoping it'll come back again. So it it did not come back for a long time, uh, but it was frustrating to see. I was able to guess exactly where the price would go and take the liquidity. Look at this. It went there exactly at that very near to my partial target and then bounce back. That's why I was a little bit frustrated. Again, let's continue and see how it plays out again. After almost like 30 minutes of patience, I stuck to my levels. I know I can rely on my strongest liquidity on the top, and then the partial targets there. I just look at that. It was out. So now my partial targets are out. That particular contracts almost got me like I think 1,300 or something like that. So first partial. Now we are at the third partial exit. We exited third time so far, right? Don't forget that. It's not like one exit and one entry. But what I'm doing right now, I wanted to push my target much below down because I wanted to maximize my trade as much as possible because it's always going down. Now I want to wait and see how the price is going to play out here in this buyer's strongest liquidity zone. So let's see. It's already, I can see the rejection right now. You can see the rejection after taking the liquidity. You can see the clearly liquidity sweep happening. It's rejecting. Now I'm watching, is it gonna go back into the range again, or is it gonna come back, you're gonna slide down much further down? Based on the price action, this is why you need to know how to read the price action. As of now, it's took the liquidity, sweep the liquidity, it's not able to go down further, and you can see the buyer control is starting coming back. More and more blue lines are coming back below the price wing. So I was being watching, let's see, should I move my stops below, or like should I uh, manage my targets a little bit closer? I wanted to be patient to see. Okay, let's see what happens after this price action. It's going down, took the liquidity. Is it gonna go back up, or is it gonna go down further? That's what I want to watch. So watch this price action, and then you will know why I did what I did. So you can see slowly the prices are starting to go down further, right? Starting to go down further. Now you can see the price is not going to go back into the range. It's out, it's much below the strongest bias control. But I don't want to move my stop. I don't want to move the target. Why? It's going down, but is it going to pull back up? If I see the pull back up and then retest and then come back down, I can move my stop from the top towards the next red line liquidity. But I don't see any red line printed so far. I don't want to move down. If I see any red liquidity zones printed a little below, so that I can move my stop also. But at this point, I cannot really move my stop anywhere. But still, the price is going down. So I decided to wait till and then see what happens. But I'm in very good profit. So right now I'm already in a very good profit. So far I already made like 3,400 with the three multiple contracts, exit everything. The last stretch I wanted to make sure I don't want to lose this big profit already booked. My stop is not protecting the reversal and the lose everything. My target is way far down. That's why in this case I decided to be very very careful and decide what I'm going to do. If the prices are going to pull back, if I, basically I'm looking for liquidity zones. If I see bias coming in, green line start printing, I will close it. If I see the red line, the seller's liquidity starts printing anywhere below, now I can move my stop and then I can stay the trade further. That's my mentality so far. So I was being patient. Action, the prices are going down further, but at the same time price is struggling to go down, and then I see the bar is going up, and then I see a lot of liquidity buyers coming in, so I decided to exit my trade by clicking the close button. So that's exactly how I was able to enter, manage my trade, scaling my trades up contracts, scaling down my contracts down. But I was in the trade the entire time. Look at this. I was in the trade the entire time, almost like for 2 hours. Just I found my entry, and then I was able to scale in, scale down, finding my perfect stops, perfect targets, partial exits, everything. Once I have uh, once I have in like almost like 2 hours or 1.5 hours near to market close, you know what? I think $5,400 is great enough for the day It's a great trade. For me, that's the end of the day. I signed off, and then I'm glad I recorded it. I'm hoping be able to understand what is the power of liquidity sweep, what is the power of the strongest liquidity zones, what is the power of breakout and retest, and then when we see the buyer's liquidity turned into sellers, all the things factor and come in place. So, and also price action. You need to understand the price action. There is no one strategy or one tactic you can use in the trading. You need to know a lot of things, right? That's why this particular trade I was able to explain you multiple things put together, how it helped me to make my trading decisions right from the entry. I was first of all, I was being very patient in the beginning. If you looked at it, I was very patient, and the market was going sideways. I was in no rush. I waited for perfect entry with a minimal risk. That's when it started. From there, you have to manage your trade, scale in, scale down. When you have another more and more opportunities for another trade entries, scale your contracts up. And then when they are struggling to get past certain levels, exit the partial contracts. At the same time, expand your trade, try to maximize it. Hope it helps, and you have a great day.